Professor Edmond is a Professor Emeritus of Clinical Psychiatry and the Behavioral Sciences at the University of Southern California Keck School of Medicine. He is also Clinical Professor of Psychiatry and Biobehavioral Sciences at University of California, Los Angeles. Dr. Pai is former Medical Director of the Department of Mental Health, State of California, USA. The DMH had oversight of $2 billion public mental health annual budget. He was the department's highest-level psychiatrist and was responsible for ensuring the development and implementation of statewide mental health treatment services. Professor Pai is an accomplished researcher in the field of cross-cultural psychiatry, psychopharmacology, and movement disorders. Dr. Pai is listed amongst the best doctors of America and America's top doctors. Professor Pai has been very active on the international scenes in organized psychiatry in the past 30 years, including being the Vice President and Treasurer of the Pacific Rim College of Psychiatrists, Vice Chair of the Scientific Program Committee of the 2019 and 2020 annual meetings of American Psychiatric Association. Professor Pai is an honorary fellow of the World Psychiatric Association, and he served as the representative for Zone 2 USA within the WPA board, most recently elected to the WPA Executive Board as the Secretary for Scientific Meetings in 2020.
Hello, dear colleagues. Today's presentation is on the action plan for the triennium 2020 to 2023 regarding scientific meetings, World Psychiatric Association. Let me just make a brief introduction of myself. My name is Edmond Sintong Pai, MD, and I'm Secretary for a Scientific Meeting of WPA. It is certainly a great honor to be elected as the Secretary for Scientific Meetings and joining the WPA Executive Committee, EC. And I am a Professor Emeritus of Clinical Psychiatry and Behavior Science at the University of Southern California, USC, USA, as well as Clinical Professor of Psychiatry and Biobehavior Sciences, University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA in USA. And I serve as a former medical director for the Department of Mental Health, State of California, USA. And then the State of California is the most populous state in the US. And I have this extensive background on the public mental health system. And also serve as a member from 2011 to 2014 on the Standing Committee for Scientific Meetings of WPA, as well as the Zonal Rep 2014 to 2020 for Zone 2 USA, and serve as a board member of the WPA. Additionally, that I serve as a vice chair for the Scientific Program Committee, American Psychiatric Association Annual Meetings 2019 and 2020. So there are many challenges we're facing for the triennium 2020 to 2023 regarding scientific meetings. We all know that the world has been embracing this massive globalization process, and also there's a worldwide swiftly shifting of the landscape of health and mental health in the recent years. However, from the very beginning of the current triennium, 2020 to 2023, the COVID-19 pandemic caused by SARS-CoV-2 has disrupted holding medical conferences across the entire world. It's not only psychiatry, it's every medical specialty being affected. While facing these uncertain, unpredictable times, WPA will remain sensitive and respectful not only to those affected by COVID-19, but also to our own safety and well-being. We continue to promote the mission of WPA. Despite that, we're facing so many challenges. We contribute to achievements and success of the WPA, support and advocate for members of psychiatric profession and future advance the best clinical care, education, and research in psychiatry globally, and continue to organize WPA scientific meetings. Based on this close monitoring of the global risk assessment regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, so far of our congresses and co-sponsored meetings have since been transformed into an innovative online format, i.e., virtual meeting. During this time of limited in-person gathering, this virtual format meeting is a safe and excellent way to allow the member societies to continue to build bonds with each other and allow all to participate within their own safety. Virtual meetings have allowed us to create a new opportunity or opportunities together and make the meetings even more accessible to a worldwide audience. So there are more challenges. At present, it is difficult to predict when the pandemic will be mitigated because the variants, the virus continues to mutate. And we're not quite sure when we will be allowed to travel safely and resume in-person meetings without jeopardizing personal health. This remains as a great challenge for WPA. However, we have closely monitored the future development of the COVID-19 pandemic and diligently making appropriate adjustment in planning for future congresses. When we are facing challenges, there are always opportunities. So now I would like to focus on opportunities for the current triennium. WPA will not succumb to the so-called pandemic fatigue and will not detour our path to advance. So we are moving forward. WPA is confident by embracing these opportunities and taking global action and working closely together with the international collaboration. We will overcome, for sure will overcome all the challenges and advance further. While trusting the pandemic to shall pass, we now set our sights on not only for current year, but also beyond. Begin to review and reflect on the relevant issues of the current year, including mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. Furthermore, we're strategizing how to plan what the future will hold for us and embrace whatever the new norm, although we don't know that is what the new norm will be, but we are ready to embrace the new norm for the post-COVID-19 era, whatever that would be. So here are the goals for the scientific meetings, WPA. Increase the exchange of information between psychiatrists from different parts of the world, including networking, training, and monitoring of early career psychiatrists. As a lifetime educator, I firmly believe that without education, there will be no future. So our future is in the future generation. The early career psychiatrists, the future generation are our hope, our future. We continue to contribute to the education of different categories of mental health workers by providing up-to-date scientific information. Increase exchange and collaboration between psychiatrists and their community, professional, government, and development partners in all parts of the world. Boost collaborative research by bringing together psychiatrists and other interests in research from various parts of the world. Strengthen links between WPA member societies and between WPA and international and regional organizations in psychiatry. Increase the visibility of psychiatry nationally and internationally. Lastly, will contribute to WPA funds. So what are the plans of work with specific duties of scientific meetings? We report to the WPA Executive Committee and work closely with other EC members while managing specific duties, and work with the EC and the Secretariat to oversee and coordinate all official scientific meetings of the WPA and manage applications for WPA co-sponsorship of scientific meetings. Maintain responsibility for the development of proposals to host the WPA World Congresses of Psychiatry and other WPA scientific meetings in accordance with the WPA policies. Assist in all aspects of the organization of WPA World Congresses and other WPA scientific meetings. So here are the types of WPA scientific meetings. There are two big categories. The first one we call WPA Congresses. The next one is WPA co-sponsor meetings. Under the WPA Congress, there are three different congresses. First one is a World Congress. Second one is a Regional Congress. Third one, the Thematic Congress. So let me go through a little bit more detail about each Congress. Regarding the World Congress of Psychiatry, so called WCP, takes place annually, once a year. Location will be selected from one of the following parts of the world. There are four regions. First one, Asia, Oceania, Americas, Europe, Middle East, or Africa, jointly organized with the hosting WPA member society. The Congress usually lasts about 3-4 days. We expected the minimum number of participants from about 5,000. Next one is the Regional Congress. Each of the parts of the world not hosting the World Congress may host a Regional Congress. Again, there are four regions listed, and no more than 2 regional congresses will take place annually, jointly organized with the hosting WPA member society through an agreed contract or cooperation agreement. The Congress usually lasts for about 2 to 3 days. Expected minimum number of participants is about 500 to 1,000 people. And the Thematic Congress, the last one under the Congresses, these Congress focus on one or more topics of interest that WPA wish to pursue. Take place in parts of the world with a timing and format that does not compete with any of the other organized WPA scientific meetings. So it occurs one or more times a year worldwide, jointly organized with the hosting WPA member society or WPA component as primary host or as co-host to an educational or other approved organization through an agreed contract or cooperation agreement. The Congress usually lasts 2 to 3 days. Expect the minimum number of participants, again, is about 500 to 1,000. So our last group is the WPA co-sponsored meetings. These meetings held in conjunction with the National Society member societies, WPA components, or other reputable organizations, including educational institutions. The participation of WPA will be subject to the approval of the content of the meeting, 1 or more times a year in any part of the world. Organized by the WPA components, including a member society or a WPA scientific section or a WPA zonal leadership in collaboration with a local professional conference organizer. Meeting would not compete with other WPA scientific meetings. So these are we'll just give it a brief review of there are 2 types of meetings. One is a Congress, WPA Congress. The other one is the co-sponsored meetings. So now I'd like to move on to WPA Standing Committee for Scientific Meetings. This committee continues to implement and improve the task and the function of the WPA related to congresses and co-sponsor meetings by doing the following: improving the scientific quality of WPA scientific meetings, working in close collaboration with the WPA Secretary for Education and Secretary General to provide continual medical education credits for WPA meetings. Working in close collaboration with the WPA Secretary for Finances to improve the financial income and stability of the WPA through sponsors. Also increase the number of the WPA co-sponsored meetings to involve all the 4 regions and 18 zones of the WPA. Most importantly is to reach out to the high, middle, and the low income country, all the countries. Disseminating WPA information, knowledge, educational programs, and expertise to all the different WPA regions. Focusing on evidence-based knowledge by research-oriented and educationally oriented presentations. So here are the members of the WPA Standing Committee for Scientific Meetings for the current triennium, 2020 to 2020, actually 2023, I'm sorry, that's a typo, okay, 2023. So I chair the committee, and then here are the members. Actually, all the members, they represent every region of the world. So here are the members of our committee. And I would say doctor, professor, everybody, okay? Kamaria, James, Okasha, Sku, Karavisky, and Zainal, okay, Zainal. And we also work closely with the WPA Secretariat at the WPA headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. So during this challenging time since 2020, due to the COVID-19, that WPA have been able to hold the congresses. This other congress has been held since October 2020 to present. WPA Thematic Congress was held in Greece in December 2020, and it was virtual meeting. And then the next one was the WPA World Congress of Psychiatry, was held in Bangkok and Thailand, but again was a virtual meeting in March 2021. And the Regional Congress was held in St. Petersburg, Russia, was a virtual meeting. And the regional meeting again, Congress again, and Ukraine, it was a hybrid meeting, was held in July 2021. So here are some of the confirmed or proposed future WPA congresses. I would like to mention that the WPA World Congress, and the theme is New World, New Challenges for Psychiatry and Mental Health, which will be held from October 18th, October 21st, 2021, in Cartagena, Colombia, and virtual meeting. Then the next one, we have more meetings, thematic congress, and again, one in Greece, one in Pakistan, and the third thematic congress also will be held in the future in Greece next year in 2022. Then the World Congress, WPA 2022, will be held in Bangkok in Thailand. So here are the WPA co-sponsored meetings, approved our request. There are multiple, and I will not bore you with the list. And here are, like, we have so far about more than seven, the meetings approved or requested. So the remarks and the future directions. We're calling for each zone to think about to organize a thematic meetings and or a regional meeting in collaboration with the other zones. By doing so, that would provide a viable opportunity to get closer to the other zones in the region. WPA is planning for future in-person meeting. Right now, we are planning all the meeting in 2022. We're planning for in-person meeting, in-person face-to-face meetings. However, these meetings may be transformed into virtual format until the world recovers from the pandemic and become safe to travel and to convene face-to-face meetings. We hope we'll be able to hold our meetings, future meeting in 2022 in person, face-to-face. There are more WPA congresses and WPA co-sponsored meetings are in the pipeline. I want to thank you for your attention.